Well, investing in the market can be intimidating if you're new to it, and there are things you should know before you jump in. We're happy to welcome back Kristin Afelumo with HerPlanning to talk us through this. Great to see you as always.
Good to see you, Autumn.
Okay, let's first start off with what people need to know before they start investing.
Right.
How can they prepare?
So before you jump in, for safety reasons, make sure you've paid off all your high interest credit card debt and also that you have an emergency fund. The worst thing that could happen is you start investing, you're taking on some risk, and all of a sudden you have an emergency pop up and you need the money. So just make sure you've got those two things covered.
Right, make sure you have your basics covered first.
Right.
All right, as far as investing, how important is it to work with people like yourself as a financial planner or other experts to help you through that process?
I'd say it's extraordinarily important, especially as you approach the $250,000 milestone. Prior to that, there's a lot of DIY or kind of done for you options that are available. I particularly like, when I'm thinking about retirement planning or college planning, a target date fund. It's a fund that's set up for you by the investment company, and it's meant to be more aggressive as you're farther away from the date that you'll need the money, and then more conservative or less risky as you get closer. So you can put the money in, let it ride.
And so when you work with like a financial planner like yourself, are you able to set reasonable goals to help people?
Yeah, extraordinarily important that you have a reasonable goal, because...
And how do you decide that, I guess?
Yeah, so your neighbor might be getting 20% on their portfolio, or maybe over the last year, and you might be thinking, wow, I only got 7. But if the rest of your financial plan says, hey, you've accumulated enough money that you only need to get 6 or 7 to hit your goal, that level of risk might just be more comfortable for you. So work with a financial advisor like myself who can help you figure out how much risk you should be taking on and what a reasonable expectation should be.
All right, great information as always. What would you say makes for successful investing overall? What are some tips for people at home?
So don't try to time the market. The two biggest components to your success as an investor are actually your contributions to the account and your time in the market. So just putting the money in there and being consistent about it and not touching it and trying to change it all the time. Someone said to me recently, money is like a bar of soap. The more you touch it, the less you have. I think that's a really great way to think about it.
So how do you know when to touch it?
If you have one of those set it and forget it strategies, you don't need the money until whatever that date is. But I think using those strategies really helps you from having to make that decision. Using those target date kind of solutions keeps you from having to make that decision. And then when you have a little bit more money, someone like me is helping you make the decision of whether or not we need to change the strategy or adjust. But I typically don't recommend more than once a year for most of my clients to make any major changes.
All right. Well, Kristin Afelumo, great information and resourceful as always. Thank you for joining us.